medications and medical records, sturdy leashes or carriers, and current photos of your pets in case they get lost. Of course, you'll also need food, water, bowls, and a can opener. And if you have a cat, don't forget cat litter and a box. If you have to evacuate your home, the Humane Society says you should never leave your pets behind. But remember, most emergency shelters for people don't accept animals. So long before the storm, check with your local Humane Society or veterinarian for places to board pets in an emergency. For the Weather Channel, I'm Heather Tesh.
Facts of Life by Lysol. Fact: to a child, any food can be fast food. Fact: no other wipe kills germs faster than Lysol sanitizing wipes. They kill 99.9% of germs in seconds. Life demands Lysol. That's a fact. Facts of Life by Lysol. Fact: Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was full of cold germs. Fact: everywhere that Mary went, Lysol spray killed 99.9% of those cold germs. Life demands Lysol. That's a fact.
The National Flu Map is brought to you by Lysol Disinfectant Spray. Life demands Lysol. That's a fact. Has that cold settled in your nose and throat?
It's awful.
Then let's erase these distractions and focus on your problem. That's what this new Alka-Seltzer Plus Nose and Throat does. It focuses on all these symptoms. Its concentrated medicine quickly dissolves and is ready to start working instantly, relieving your toughest nose and throat symptoms fast.
Thanks. I feel like myself again.
New Alka-Seltzer Plus Nose and Throat. And now Alka-Seltzer Plus is back in its classic seltzer flavor. Alka-Seltzer Plus harnesses the power to break up your cold.
Life is full of difficult choices, and some not so difficult. When you purchase an elegantly redesigned mid-size 2003 Saturn L Series, you can choose $2,500 toward your down payment. Or get 0% financing, 0 down payment, and 0 payments for 90 days. Unfortunately, this not-so-difficult choice ends January 2nd. Purchase a 2003 Saturn L Series and get $2,500 toward down payment, or 0% APR, 0 down payment, and 0 monthly payment for 90 days. See participating retailer for restrictions.
We make products that work in your home. We wait until we've got a product that's better than what's out there, that the consumer can see the difference in. Then we'll go to market. It's the duty to our heritage, and it's a duty to our consumer. I'm certain that what we are doing now not only will go into the next generation, but the generation after that.
S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Those of you who've been dreaming of a white Christmas, well, sometimes dreams do come true. Right now, parts of the Northeast getting slammed with high winds, heavy rain, and yes indeed, lots of snowfall. States of emergency up from upstate New York to western Massachusetts. Parts of the New York Thruway shut down tonight.
And this is an example of how roads in New Jersey look. Road crews are working to keep streets and highways clear. Tough though, snow will continue to fall through this evening. And coming up, our winter weather expert Paul Coaston will have the latest on this white Christmas storm.
Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Weather Center. I'm Warren Madden alongside Paul Goodlow.
If you're joining us for atmospheres, well, we've preempted that because of this major winter storm. And again, thanks for joining us and Merry Christmas to you, Warren, and to everyone there as well. We do have a storm out there, a lot to talk about. And again, this storm continues to dump in many areas over 2 feet of snow already in portions of upstate New York, and there's more on the way, and still snow comes down in New England and lingering in Pennsylvania as well. Right now is our own Mike Seidel, who's joining us. He's standing by live in Natick, Massachusetts. And Mike, looks like the last half hour or so, the snow has kind of tapered off a little bit, but looks like it continues to pick up as we are heading into the 8:30 hour here on the East Coast, right?
It is, Paul. It certainly has picked up, and it's being driven by these gusty winds over 35 miles an hour. So it's swirling around and coming down horizontal at times. Before we check the roads, let me talk about what's going on at the airports. Logan has reopened, Boston's Logan, and now what they're trying to do is get the diverted planes back into Logan. A lot of planes have been diverted to Dulles Airport and also to Philadelphia International. Those were planes trying to get into New York City when those airports were closed. As far as being open, Newark is open. but again, count on delays and some cancellations. But LaGuardia and JFK are waiting to hear from the Port Authority. Those are the people responsible for getting the runways clear, and they were supposed to reopen right now at 8:30 Eastern. We'll let you know what's going on there. Let's check out the road here. Route 9. This is a main east-west thoroughfare between Natick and Framingham, just off the Mass Pike. And the road crews, boy, thumbs up coming in on the holiday. They've been coming by with a ton of salt. They have over 200,000 tons at their disposal in the state of Massachusetts. And here comes a plow right now. We'll follow this plow coming up the street, and you can see how they're getting this wet, slushy snow out of the way. I'll move out of the way, and we can follow the plow coming up the street. But they continue to come by here about every 15 minutes, and because it had stopped snowing or backed off for a while, they've been able to keep up with the snowfall rate. But a very slushy, snowy mess. And again, if the roads haven't been treated, it's one of those nights where you want to stay in because of the snow and the blowing snow. The wind is still going to be a big problem tomorrow once the snow ends. A very windy day for those of you maybe heading over here to the Natick Mall across the street for some post-Christmas sales or trying to get back to work. Watch the residential streets, but the Mass Pike and these roads, once it stops snowing, they'll be able to get those in pretty good shape. We'll keep you posted on the airports and the roadways here from snowy Natick here west of Boston. Paul?
Thanks. That's Mike Stoddard reporting live tonight from Natick, Mass. And again, the good news is this is a holiday weekend, so not as many people on the roads. But for further insight on this storm system, let's turn to our winter weather expert, Paul Kosin. And Paul, Mike is in that the Boston metro area, so snow has been coming on and off the last hour or so. What about New York City? On the radar, looks like the snow has been pretty solid for the last several hours. How much snow have they seen, and how much snow will they be seeing before this system ends?
Well, we just got a statement out of the local New York office saying that generally between 3 and 6 inches has fallen already. 4.5 inches at Central Park, up to 5.5 inches in Queens, as much as 7 inches of snow in Nassau County, and the snow is still coming down. There's no sign of a let-up yet, so it looks like at least 3 to 6 inches, and we'll be watching to see how long the snow will continue there before it finally tapers off overnight. A classic intense nor'easter, coastal snowstorm, whatever you want to call it, showing the classic signature of a big comma-shaped cloud. Now has two centers, one that's been moving off of Long Island, a new center that's forming well east of the Massachusetts coastline. This is the sign of a very mature storm system. It's done most of its deepening. It's at its most intense phase, and over the next several hours it will start to begin to move out towards the east. But in the meantime, we're going to continue to see the heavy snows continue in a fairly organized fashion. They will gradually taper off across northeastern Pennsylvania and northeastern New Jersey, but we continue to see lots of snow continuing to fall across eastern New York, where we've had up to 30 inches of snow. Even though we've seen this dry air come into portions of eastern Massachusetts, especially Connecticut and Rhode Island, we'll see that fill in as the snow develops overnight in that area and continue to snow on and off, probably increasing in intensity overnight across where Mike Seidel is located in Natick, Massachusetts. Looks like Boston will still receive more than 6 inches of snow before this is all said and done. Snow is beginning to break up in places, breaking up in here, but showing the classic signs of a mature storm that begins to lose some of its distinct organization. The snow starts developing in bands, some of which are very heavy, very difficult to forecast the specific locations, but those will continue overnight. The heaviest band of snow still extending from north central New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, at least 1 to 2 feet overnight with strong winds. New York, your snow will be tapering off later tonight. Same with Boston, snow ending by morning, but not before greater than 6 on the ground. Let's turn it back to Paul.
Thanks. It's Paul Kosin, our winter weather expert. And we'll be checking back with Paul throughout the evening during Evening Edition, which starts in a little bit less than 30 minutes. Well, we talked about all the snow affecting the Northeast. What about the rest of the country and the storm system slamming into the West Coast? With all the details, here's Warren.
Thanks, Paul. And we do have, again, that big system in the Northeast. That's the main player. Then we run into a very quiet patch from the southeast across the Plain States until we get to another system that's moving ashore in the west, bringing some wet weather from the shores of Puget Sound down south into California at the present time. Temperatures have been on the cold side across the southeast today with the passage of that front. Below freezing now in Atlanta, very close to it in Memphis, and already down to 44 here in New Orleans, 64 in Miami, 52 in Tampa. Wanted to focus on the west. Here's our next system moving in, and we've had a fairly wet night of it here, especially around Seattle, and some showers also moving through the California area. Not as far south as LA, but Here in the Central Valley, especially heading up into the Sacramento Valley, some showers about. Seattle, you've seen some rain. Also heading over to Hoquiam, winds gusting 30 to 50 miles an hour in some spots. So a very, very windy time of it, with snow levels down to pass levels. So if you're planning on heading out of Seattle, heading up across Snoqualmie Pass, be prepared for winter driving conditions because we will be seeing some snow at pass level. For Thursday, our system heads out of the northeast. In its wake, the winds come around to the northwest, and lake effect snow starts getting going in the lee of Lakes Erie and Ontario, and we'll see more showers here along much of the west coast with snow in the mountains. Let's check in with your local forecast now. We call it Local on the 8s.
These things are amazing.
Introducing Saran disposable cutting sheets.
No more worrying about juicy, germy messes on my kitchen counters, in my restaurant, or at home.
New from Saran, they're the first absorbent disposable cutting sheets.
Look, cut right on them. They soak up the juicy, germy mess, then just toss the whole thing.
New disposable cutting sheets from Saran. Find them with other Saran products. SC Johnson, a family company.
Stand